Conversation 1. Did you hear that Sam got a promotion? Yeah, Jim told me. Isn't it great? Yeah, but I wish Pat had gotten one too. She really deserves it. The woman actor if the man had heard that Sam had gotten a promotion. The man agreed with the woman and he explained that Jim had told him. The woman agreed with him. However, she wished Pat had gotten one too, because she thought Pat really deserved it. The conversation too. This is Miss Fujita. May I help you? Yes, I'm calling from accountant's office. May I speak with the director? I'm sorry, she's not in. I'm her assistant. Perhaps I could help you. The woman introduced herself to the man and she offered to help him. The man agreed with her. He said he's were calling from the accountant's office and he suggested speaking with the director. The woman apologized to the man for the fact that the director was not in the office. However, she introduced she were a director's assistant, so she thought she could help him. The conversation 3. What are your special tonight? We have a fresh rim and roast beef. I think I'll just order something from regular menu. The woman acted, sorry, the man asked the woman what her specials were that night. She replied that they had fresh bream and roast beef. The man thought he would just order something from regular menu. The conversation 4. Did anyone call while I was out? You have a message from Mr. Peters. He says he's finished painting the new office. Great. Please call him back and ask him to send the bill to the accountant's office. The man asked the woman if anyone had a corner why he has been now. The woman answered her. He has a message from Mr. Peters, and Mr. Peters said he hasn't finished painting the new office. The men were satisfied about that, and he suggested the woman call Mr. Peter back and ask Mr. Peter to send the bill to the accountant's office. The conversation 5. Is this your office, John? No, it's a cynic. Mine's the one at the end of the hall. How did you get such a nice office? Your boss must really like you. The woman asked the man if that was his office. The man said no. He said his office were at the end of the hall. The woman wanted to know how he had gotten such a nice office, and she thought his boss had to like him. The conversation sank. I just received a bill from Mr. Ortega. Mrs. Ortega is your accountant? I thought Mr. Wilson was. His were, but then Bob recommended Mrs. Ortega. She does a much better job. The man said to the woman he had just received the bill from Mrs. Ortega. The woman wanted to know if Mrs. Ortega were his accountant because she thought Mr. Wilson had been. The man explained Mr. Wilson had been the accountant, but then Bob had recommended Mr. Ortega. His comments, Mr. Ortega was doing a much better job. The conversation severed. What's your daughter doing this day, Frank? She's at the university now. She's studying economics. Economics? I thought she would become a lawyer like you. The woman asked the man what his daughter was doing those days. The man replied, his daughter was at the university then, and she was studying economics. The woman was surprised by that because she supposed his daughter would become a lawyer like him. The conversation ate. Oh, Masha, have you seen Jim since his surgery? No, but Linda and I plan to visit him in the hospital this afternoon. Good, because his wife said he's really one visitor. The man wanted to know the woman if she had seen Jim since his surgery. The woman disagreed. The woman disagreed with him, but she said Linda and she planned to visit him in the hospital that afternoon. The man agreed with her, and he said Jim's wife said Jim really wanted visitor. The conversation night. Morning, isn't that Cindy's car parked by the front door? Sorry. Morning, isn't that Cindy's car parked by the front door? No, it's Tom's. You know, the new secretary. Well, he'd better move it. He parked in the director's space. The woman asked the man if that was Cindy's car parked by the front door. The man agreed with her. He explained it was Tom's, the new secretary. The woman thought Tom should move his car because Tom had parked in the director's space. The conversation time. How much is the bus fare? It's $1.50. Do you want transfer? No, but please tell me when we get to my stop. I'm going to the central post office. The man wanted to know how much the bus fare was. The woman replies it's worth $1.50. She wanted to know if he wanted a transfer. The man disagreed with her, but he suggested she tell him when they got to his stop. He said he was going to the central post office. Thank you for listening.